going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dueling Fates podcast. This week we're covering Get On Up. That's Geek. I'm Grayson. I don't do that too often. I need to do that more often to just announce who we are, because we don't have name tags.
You're
we had name
supposed
tags,
to, but sometimes you forget.
That's what I'm saying. I need to do that more often.
You almost need to find the episode where you did the best intro and then like write it down.
Geek. Which one would that be?
I don't know.
Because all of them are kind of me just hoping to God.
Jedi, you're listening and have listened to all of them. Let us know in the comments which episode he did the best intro in.
He's probably gonna go with one where I really fucked up and really was just like,
it'd be really funny.
Chaotic.
I mean, some of them are just funny. That's why I kind of don't want you to have a set one. Because like literally the last episode when we were just recording 42, you didn't even do an intro.
Did I not?
Pretty much, no.
Sometimes I forget. Like, I think one time I legitimately just jumped into like, "What's up, geek?"
Yeah, dude. We're just having a conversation about movies, man. There's nothing special.
That's the whole point. Today we're talking about Getting Up, a biopic about James Brown. Geek did not know who James Brown was, and I don't think either of us have seen this movie.
I had not, and yeah, even after watching the movie, I didn't really know who James Brown was because his most popular song was not featured in the movie.
It is for a snippet. There is
a
snippet
I
where, like,
didn't hear it.
I think it's at the beginning of the movie. You hear the "feel good," and then
I totally did. And I was like, oh, is it that guy? And then that song never came up again. And I was like, oh, must not have been.
Yeah, that's James Brown.
It's well known on the internet, but maybe not well known on this podcast. It's not that my music taste is limited based on like genre. It's just limited based on, I don't know that many people. A lot of genres, not that many artists.
Fair.
Very broad scope of genres, very narrow scope of artists. If that makes sense.
Fair. So I talked about this a little bit in the 42 episode. This movie does the opposite of what 42 does. 42 zones in on like a year or two of Jackie's life and tells that story. This tries to tell the entire story of James Brown's life, and I don't like that. I think it doesn't give us enough, context, enough things to grab onto, because you can tell the story of someone's life and it can go relatively well. Like Oppenheimer tells a good like 10-year story of his life and like his rise and downfall. That's just my like first hop into my biopic. But when you try to tell someone's entire livelihood in 2 hours, it's really hard to do with a nice through line or a consistency or context. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I was exhausted. This was the first movie I watched of the two, but I hadn't seen it before and I don't really know anything about this guy. So like because I watched 42 right after, we recorded these in the reverse order of how I watched them, but whatever. So I watched 42 after and feel like I remember it better. But this movie, I could not figure out, like, it kept like, here's this time period, we're gonna cut away to a different time period, cut back to a different time period, and then the end of the movie you're back at I don't know where the fuck I don't know what's going on most of the time.
It's a very big whiplash when it comes to trying to tell his story in a way, because you literally jump from the end of his life, 1993, to back to like when he's a child. I don't think they give us a year when he was a kid, but like trying to tell from like the background of like southern Mississippi, it's like this is not the same century. It is. It's just they're devolved into like the technology is not caught up there.
That and they were specifically living in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, but like it's super big whiplash, and it's like you're trying to like gain it. The first 30 minutes you're trying to like hook into something and try to figure out what the fuck's happening. It's James Brown. That's about it. And it's down to so many points in time where I'm just confused. And it does take a little bit of time to get used to Chadwick's accent for James Brown. It does. It took me a good like 5 minutes to understand fully what he was saying. After that, and then but when that's happening, you're jumping around to multiple eras. It's hard to like keep up with.
Yeah, the the accent never got me. Um,
I just didn't understand it for 5 minutes, and then I was like, oh, now I hear it. So
yeah, it never that never bothered me, but I don't know. Like most of the time, accents don't. Normally, I can get it.
that's because you go into 14 accents a day.
That's fair. I didn't even mean to do that.
Exactly.
Incredible.
I think back to our March review where you went Irish, British, American, and Southern. What a
Yeah.
little like snippet.
Yeah, I do. I don't know. So my brain is a place. It's
The
a
whole time,
thing.
yeah.
I'm sorry. What were we talking? Oh, the accent never really bothered me, but yeah, you're thrown around in this movie, and sometimes it gives you a timestamp, but other times it doesn't. And then when it cuts back to a time, it doesn't re-give the timestamp to like, did we go back in time? Did we go forward in time? Where the fuck am I? What's going on? I felt lost a lot, and then also not knowing anything about like anything baseline of who I'm watching a biopic on is really tough.
Yeah.
Uh,
I didn't know anything about James Brown besides his music. I'll be serious.
Sure.
Like
But I
when they started showing his like mom and dad, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Not like what the fuck is this? More like I have no idea what's happening,
Yeah.
and I'm super confused.
Yeah.
Like, I knew if he was raised there, I'd be like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like this movie as much as 42. That's not obvious.
I was a little more impressed with Chadwick in this movie.
Oh yeah, Chadwick's performance is a lot more deep in this.
But that's also because James Brown is, at least from what I can tell, a much different character than Jackie. Like, Chadwick, to me, it just kind of felt like Chadwick as Jackie Robinson. Not in a bad way, but just like, because it just kind of felt normal. This, I could not, like, it felt like he was actually playing a character and, you know, whatever. I don't know if I like James Brown.
He's not a great person.
I was gonna say, seems like a bit of a piece of shit. Also, I'm gonna start fining you. Apparently that's the trick, because that's what James Brown did to everybody.
Yeah. I was like,
that'll cost you 20. That'll cost you 20. Just in general, I'm gonna start fining you. You say something stupid, that'll cost you 20.
Please don't do that. I'm broke as it is. Fuck. Biopics, as recently, there's been a recent trend of music biopics. The Bohemian Rhapsody, Great Unknown, that happened last year. There's a huge bunch of them. I feel like they all kind of fall into the same trap of trying to encapsulate someone's story all at once and trying to take out the hard parts of life. Like Freddie Mercury, like Bohemian Rhapsody, they talk about it, like his struggle with AIDS and then his solo career. But like that's about it. They don't talk about anything else really about his life. But this they don't talk about it much, but they show that James Brown isn't a good person. And I think that even if he's not alive, it's still more earnest to who he was, and it's more truthful instead of idolizing him, putting him on a pedestal like a lot of movies will do. The Michael Jackson movie, I can tell you for sure is going to do that instead of talking about how bad of a person he was.
They're making a Michael Jackson movie?
They're making a two-parter.
Okay.
They had to refilm the third act, so they're now just splitting into two movies. Yeah, so that'd be interesting.
No,
but like,
I was going to make a joke, but I'm just going to not.
I do like that they show that James Brown isn't someone to completely idolize. He is a person who is wrapped up into a bad early childhood, into a show business that's not Uh,
bad early childhood, but was like also given a god complex from the time he was little.
yeah, when you're like prepped up to like be like you're talented
You
as
were,
like
well, it's not even just that. It's the, you were born dead. You've got the spirit inside of you. You're destined for great things. At least in the movie is something he was told a lot by like everyone he met.
I'm sure it was told.
That's gonna get ingrained in here that you're just like now. If you're bullied all the time, like Grayson, you get a complex thinking you're a piece of shit. Only I don't know if Grayson has that complex. I do. I have the complex.
No,
I think I'm a
have
piece of shit and a
turtle
bad
style
person.
of the skin.
I have thick skin to like, it doesn't bother me. It just at some point rewired my brain to now I just am a piece of shit. Because I
No,
was told for
I
my
also
whole
that
life that
shit.
I am. So
No, I also that shit. The cold never bothered me anyway. But anyways, bitch, you know. Did you get that reference?
yeah.
Have you seen Frozen? I don't think you've
Yeah.
seen Frozen. Uh,
I have a niece who was like the perfect age to be in love with Frozen when it came out.
there was never a perfect age.
No, there is. It's a children's movie.
And
You can enjoy it as an adult. I'm not saying that. But there is I said a perfect age to be obsessed with it. If you're obsessed with like a true Disney children's movie as an adult, I do judge you a bit. That's a little
what do you mean by
insane.
obsessed?
Think about the way children obsess over movies sometimes. If you are that obsessed as a 30-year-old anything over a children's Disney movie, I'm going to judge you. That's really weird.
Okay.
There's better media. There just is.
I mean, I hyperfixate on what's technically children's media. As you can see,
I was going to say,
in the Pokemon.
see, well, Pokemon fair. Red Hood, the idea that comics are just for children's a little insane. The story that leads to the creation of Red Hood is not for children. I don't care.
No, it is. I think it's for children.
No.
Yeah.
He gets beaten to death with a crowbar. What?
Besides my own personal trauma, that's how I learned about death.
Well, he discombobulated the man.
Right, last episode. No, but this movie, with James Brown, it gives him a complex. You can see how it grows from when he's younger.
Yeah.
But also he's not completely unrealistic with his, talent. There's a point in the movie with Dan Aykroyd where he's talking to Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
And he's like, "We can just take the
That's
gate."
who that was. I knew I recognized
Ghostbusters.
him, but yeah.
SNL. Yeah. But I think that's my favorite scene from this movie is when he's breaking the fourth wall, talking about the gate and how he can he basically revolutionized how acts now do the ticketing.
Yeah.
That's what they do nowadays. That fourth wall break, which I'm not always. Oh, I don't think I'm very okay with the fourth wall breaks in this movie, but I think that one time where he's like, "This is what I did," and I'm explaining to you how gates work. You could have done that better, where you don't fourth wall break, but he fourth wall breaks a ton in this fucking movie. It's weird.
Well, it's because the way, for whatever reason, it's like, and honestly, it's probably because it's needed. Because when he's sitting there talking to Dan Aykroyd's character, he does not need to explain how it works because Dan Aykroyd's character is in this industry. He understands it. But me as the viewer, I'm not. Maybe I don't. Maybe I do. We all have different experiences and different things we care about. But it feels important because it would bug me more if it wasn't a fourth wall break and he was trying to explain it to somebody who works in that industry. Unless it was just what do you think? I'm fucking stupid. But then that just takes me out of the movie because that isn't how that conversation would go.
Yeah.
Me and you talking about content creation is going to sound different than me or you talking to our parents about it. We're not going to talk about it the same way because I don't have to explain things to you, basic levels of it. I don't have to explain that to you. So there's no, the fourth wall breaks in some of the cases were fine. And maybe all of them. I don't remember all of them. Again,
There's several points in time where like he'll hear a character say something and then he'll just stare at the screen like he's fucking
yeah,
what's his name from
Jim
The
Halpert.
Office. Yeah. I'm like, we don't need this. Like explain to me
Fair.
how the music business works, fine.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't need your snide little like stare into the camera for this scene. I get it. He said something dumb where they were saying something like that was idiotic to you, and you can get that by Chadwick's like reaction in the first place, but I don't need to stare into the camera and be like, haha.
Yeah. Bro thinks he was live on Twitch, randomly staring into the camera.
Fair. But like I guess it kind of feeds into that James Brown is like this figure that's bigger than life.
Yeah.
As he's portraying this movie. I guess that's like what they're trying to lean into. I don't think they lean into it well.
So I'm jumping ahead to the end of the movie just because I don't know if I got it. The song he sings for the final performance on stage when he has Mr. Bird come to the show. Was that one of Mr. Bird's songs? Is that what that was supposed to be? Because, like, to me, at least that's the way it's framed, is like he really wanted him at the concert and then he opened with one of his songs as like a... Because to me, this would be like kind of an apology, but he's James Brown, so he can't apologize. That's not how that works. So like, this is my I'm sorry, thank you type moment without having to say those words, because that's how.
I don't know. I don't know enough about James Brown to be like that's why I know that James Brown is just an artist. Like literally, my previous knowledge was that he was a really good artist from like the 50s and 60s. That's my knowledge on him before this movie. He's looking it up.
Yeah, it's not working, and I want to murder Google. Get your stupid fucking AI overview out of here. Every time I see it, I actively want to... Nope, can't say that. I'll get investigated.
You're already investigated.
Yeah, I don't need more. Hi, Mr. FBI man.
Nah, you're on the CIA's watch list.
Probably both.
Yeah. The things I look up, I definitely am.
Yeah.
You look up medical terminology on a daily basis. It's either you're writing a book, you're a nursing student, or you're trying to murder someone.
Which one are you doing? Yes.
I refuse to comment.
My lawyer is advising me not to answer this question. I don't know. Even the AI overview doesn't have an
I love that
answer, which I love. So I have no idea. I just realized I had heard of James Brown before, I think.
Oh my god. You have the King of Funk? Yeah.
Not because of that.
Because of why?
You're gonna hate when I say this.
Like I heard from a Drink song.
There's a song. It is from a song from somebody else. If I remember correctly, I'm looking up the lyrics. I just figured out what song it was. I had to type in the lyrics that I remembered so it would tell me the song.
I'm scared.
No, it's not bad. I don't think. The song is not bad. Anything after that, I don't know. I don't know. You know me and my lack of knowledge with celebrities. Well, I'm reading the exact lyrics to make sure I don't know where the fuck it is. Sorry. Yeah, so James Brown gets referenced in an Eric Church song called Record Year. It's another country artist. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. It just popped into my head that, I had heard the name.
He's one of the Foundations R&B. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah, I don't know, man. This movie is really weird how it tells the story. And again, like
Yeah.
I said earlier, having to tell someone's whole story, a whole life
Yeah.
story in one movie in 2 hours is such a hard task to do. And when movies focus on a certain point in their life, it's much better. But having to tell the whole life story is so hard to do because there's no story. It's just their life.
You know what I want to
When you see
watch
someone's
now?
Oppenheimer,
Because I haven't in a long time. No.
I,
Different
I just
biopic.
I just want to watch Oppenheimer.
We can. I love that movie. Different biopic, though.
I'll set for a Friday date.
Set Oppenheimer and set, I think it's called Walk the Line. The Joaquin Phoenix, Johnny Cash biopic.
Yes.
I remember watching that movie growing up, but I know that movie does cover his whole life, and I want to see if that movie does it better than this one.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I've, I'm not going to say I understand movies, but some idiots making me watch them. It's pretty fucking rude, if you're honest.
You're the one.
Yeah,
who
this was
asked me
my
to force
idea.
you.
Yeah, this whole thing was my idea.
I'm like, the fuck, dude. I was trying to look what the anniversary of Oppenheimer is. It's like 2 weeks from now.
Well, I don't think we're moving anything for 2 weeks from now.
No.
When did Walk the Line come out?
I don't fucking know.
2005. So 20-year anniversary. November 18th is the 20-year anniversary of Walk the Line.
It's the day after one of our is.
So we could do that week's Friday, though.
I understand. I'm trying to figure out the date it happened. We can do it on.
That would be
Welcome to live scheduling with Dueling Fades.
Yeah, well, welcome. The 21st or the 14th.
Fucking hate how Discord. I can't just hit enter and go to the next line.
Yeah, you have to shift enter it.
Yeah, I know.
Bro's got to shift enter, not just enter. Granny shifting, not double clutching like you should. Sorry, random Fast and the Furious reference.
I've never seen Fast and the Furious 2.
I'm so ready to watch that one.
We are watching it.
I know. And there might be a guest on that episode.
There is.
I know I was talking to the people, not the fucking duck.
Don't talk to them.
Sorry, fourth wall break.
Yeah. We're doing fine now. No.
Hi, people watching. Hi. Yeah, I see you. Put some fucking clothes on, you freak. That's going to get somebody, and it's going to be really...
Free Jedi.
Like, bro, I was in the shower. You said that. It freaked me the fuck out.
No, but like again, like when it comes to like I've watched a lot of these music biopics. They want to try to encapsulate someone's life in 2 hours, and it's really hard to do. And I don't think any of them really succeed in doing so. And they don't do it really well. Where it's like I can give this movie a 10 out of 10 or like a 9 out of 10 or something like super big score because there's no storyline. It's a person's life. It's stuff that happens to them. That there's no like running plot. There's plots that happens during years of your life that definitely does happen, but it's not like your whole life has this one single plot. That your destiny is not made up. I mean, people.
Yeah, your destiny is predetermined, though. That's what the fates are for. The Norns.
What I mean is that when we talk about someone's life story, that their destinies aren't going to be super, not a straightforward line where you can have a 3-act structure. There's no 3-act structure in someone's life. I mean, James Brown's life ended abruptly to cancer.
I was going to say, there is, but they don't know it while they're alive. There is a beginning, middle, and end. Who knows where the points are, though? Well, I know where the beginning is. I know where mine began.
But then you have some like writer that comes across probably 7 years later to write your story, and it has to find those points in time in your life. You can't be like, no, this is what happened,
right?
Because you're dead.
Yeah.
But like that's what I'm like. that's why I think it's so hard about making it someone's with a biopic. That's why I much prefer like something like 42, where it tells a few years or a single event that occurs over a period of time rather than a long substantial time. And I think that's where this movie falls apart. Not only because of how it's structured in this non-linear version, but also they can't make a 3-act structure with someone's life so easily.
Right. Yeah, and then I mean, it would help if they tried.
Yeah, this doesn't have a structure.
Yeah, no.
There's no
like,
rising.
I was gonna say it would be different if, you know, maybe it tried and then we could just like say, well, maybe do this different. It didn't even try. Like the movie starts in way later in his life for no reason, and then goes to the beginning, and then goes to the middle, and then the beginning, and then the middle end, and then the very end, and then the beginning. I don't get the point of that, other than I can't figure out how to write this as a good movie, so let's just jump around.
We want to be different and different.
I'm not like other directors.
Who did direct this? I've seen that name before.
That was so funny. Did you hear me when I said that last night during D&D?
No.
We were making fun of you as a person.
I have not heard this director, but I know this director.
We were making fun of you, not just Rakes, but also Grayson. And I did the "I'm not like other guys" line. I think only instead of "I'm not like other girls," you know, the stupid fucking joke about that. Yeah. But for you, it's "I'm not like other guys." It was really funny in context. Only Steven heard it.
I'm just trying to pick up the joke.
Because the entire joke in that moment was that you're a pick-me guy. And then I hit you with the "I'm not like other guys." You know, not like other guys. Bro apparently zoned out.
I just don't see myself as a pick-me.
Well, you don't have to see yourself as one. I don't think anyone that does.
What the fuck?
What?
So the person who directed this movie is called Tate Taylor. They've done some movies, like random movies. I'm so confused. Like, of all the directors you picked him.
What's wrong with him?
He's not black.
Oh, well, that's fair. Hey, man,
And
don't say that like I should know something.
It's more like I think if you were to tell a black person's story, you should have someone who understands their struggle.
Well, who directed 42?
Brian Helgeland. He's also a white guy. He also directed A Knight's Tale. We'll talk about a good movie with a black director in like a week or two.
That's crazy that A Knight's Tale and then 42. What a wow. All right. And then nothing else anyone's ever heard of ever.
Mm-hmm.
All pretty well reviewed though.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
You're a solid director and you can make a life out of making a solid films.
Yeah, solid films that 90% of people have never heard of, but who cares?
Fair.
Get on up. That's what this is.
Yeah, that's what the movie is.
I didn't have the IMDb up. We've just been talking about how confusing it was, which is accurate.
Why do you make the structure so weird? Like, there's some movies where you tell it out of order, it makes sense.
Yeah.
This is not one of them.
Also,
like, if it's narrated by Chadwick playing James Brown, sure.
I got very confused for a bit. When it cut to him as a kid in the woods, his dad just being Morgan from The Walking Dead, because I've never seen him in anything else. I really thought we were about to get zombies. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, Morgan. And then he was such a piece of shit.
Um,
What?
yeah, but like also that was kind of their relationship. I think the mom's more of a piece of shit for just dipping.
Ah, yes, piece of shit for leaving an abusive. You know, the dad shot at her, right?
No, I'm saying why didn't she just take the fucking kid?
She
I know she
tried.
tried, but
You fucking idiot. She would not have been successful. She would have just died.
or come back for him at some point.
We don't
She does
find out
not
that
come
she's
back.
a piece of shit until later when he
Yeah.
finds her.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know you. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That's why she's a piece of shit because she didn't come back, or when her kid finds her again, doesn't try to become a mom again.
Yeah.
That's my viewpoint.
Nah, who needs a mom?
Most people, geek.
I didn't have one. Look how good I turned out.
Well, you do,
Yeah, I
just
know.
not in
It's a
the
joke.
typical fashion.
Yeah, it's a joke. Calm down, internet. No one's watching 31 minutes into this episode. They left 32 minutes ago.
They didn't even click
They
on
didn't
it.
even click.
That's crazy.
Yeah. One of the things I hate is like it makes a point of showing like he find his I want to say friends, but to me it almost feels like he didn't view them as friends. But like the band members and the people he knew, he find them for things. But it never shows why he starts doing that. Ever.
Because he likes money.
Sure. But normally there's like a reason. There's a thing. There's something there's a driving force behind the thing.
He's back. He owes taxes. He owes the government, which is never a good thing.
Yeah,
You
but
say that in
the
the-
money thing started way before that. So that doesn't work.
I'm sure that he's behind the money before then, and he has been fighting them to try to make up for it.
I don't think it's that. Maybe it is, but it never tells us that. Like,
No,
that feels like something that I don't need it explicitly told to me with a fourth wall break of, yeah, I started finding but like, make it make sense. And maybe it's just the way it cuts around that it makes it hard to comprehend. It's almost like I want to tell a story that like requires you to pay way too much. Like, you know, the movies where if you really dig in, you can get another story. It's almost like the director wanted that, but with a real person's life. So instead of crafting a meaningful movie, I'm just going to jumble it up and hope somebody can understand something. And I'm just going to be excited when the one fan on Reddit has this crazy idea. And I'm going to go, yes, I thought of that. That is definitely what I was saying. Like, it feels like I want to be the smartest guy in the room type moment, but it's just not.
Well, I read some reviews between when I finished and we started recording about this, and literally most of the reviews are like, this is a biopic that tries to tell a non-linear story for whatever reason. That's kind of the consensus, and they're like, it's mid. That's a consensus on Letterboxd. What I read.
Interesting. I'm reading trivia now. Apparently, Chadwick did all of his own dancing and trained for 2 months to learn how to sing and dance properly.
Oh, so he sang those songs? I thought they legitimately just took James Brown's voice and no, okay. Interesting.
Wow, that's crazy. This film had been in development since 2000.
That makes sense because I was looking on the rent site because I bought this movie, but I was like looking for it because I could stream it upstairs. And they're bundling it with Ray, which came in like 2004. So that makes sense. They just could have been the right actor
or something. Wow. Apparently Spike Lee was originally lined up to direct.
Why didn't he?
Music contractual issues held up the production, and he had to leave to honor other commitments. Chadwick would later work with Spike Lee in *Da 5 Bloods, which became Boseman's last film to be released in his lifetime.
Yes.
Um, I don't know.
Have you paid the cost to be the boss?
No. Have you?
I don't have money.
Is that
You have
the,
money.
is that the cost?
Well, you gotta pay. Usually that's kind of what he had to do.
It doesn't
Pay
always
up
have to
front.
be money. Maybe
Well,
you
no, but,
paid the
like,
cost to be the boss because you became the boss because you sold your soul or something.
I wish I could sell my soul. Do you how much monetary value do you think you get for my soul?
Honestly, none. Honestly, I think that's why you don't hear any stories about people selling their soul anymore. Because I think
I can do empathy.
let's work under the pretend assumption that the devil's real.
It's not to be the devil. You can sell your soul to plenty of things.
No, but just hear me out. Because
Devil's hot,
normally
so yeah.
gods don't listen. You can't sell your soul to the gods. They don't pay attention. You just give them your soul and they don't really care. That's what gods are for. The devil actively makes the deal and gives you something. He's the only one who really does that. Or demons, but in essence, that's still going to the same place, the same guy. He doesn't have to anymore. He doesn't need more souls. Hell's kind of overrun. He honestly might let you keep your soul and make a deal just so you'll fuck off. Maybe I should try that.
You gotta go to a crossroads.
That's really not hard to find. That's.
I'm sorry, you guys trying to make it supernatural.
No, I know. I've just always loved that. We gotta find a crossroads. It's like part of me is just like, so like every intersection in a city, can I just go walk out in the middle of the intersection? Will Crowley show up?
I prefer when the demon's hot.
Respect Crowley.
Mark Shepard's great, but
Oh, that's his name?
it's the actor's name.
Nice.
I mean, my Roomba upstairs is named Crowley because my mother's obsessed with that show. Because her
Hey, look, Sam and Dean right behind him.
Yeah, her reasoning for Crowley is because Crowley cleans up all of Sam and Dean's messes, which I don't know.
To me, Crowley seems like such a cat's name.
Yes, since it's literally a demon. Yeah,
if I'm getting if I get a cat, I might name it Crowley.
Because it's a demon. Yeah, I concur.
Ooh, get a Crowley cat and a Castiel cat.
Now,
And you got the angel and the demon.
He's a Labrador.
Castiel's like a fucked up raccoon. He doesn't know what's going on.
Wasn't this episode like get on up his brown wild pig?
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. We were talking about supernatural and pets. That's crazy. Viola Davis plays James Brown's mother, despite only being 11 years older than Chadwick. I thought he was just sitting very still. That's kind of a terrifying face that froze on. Somebody help. The devil might actually be here. Why did he freeze so creepily? Please, somebody help. Somebody help. Some other things happen at some point, I'm sure. I don't know. There's some fun goofiness. Apparently people who care about this will care. When they land in Vietnam, he's greeted by an army private wearing ribbons on his fatigue uniform. The army has never worn ribbons on fatigues. The ribbons are also in the wrong order of precedence. In the movie, James Brown is only married twice, where in real life he had 4 different wives. That's crazy. Why would you keep getting married at that point? Yeah, I'm just going to keep reading fun facts. Yeah. Oh, hi, second me.
I love that it didn't let me come back to the voice immediately. It literally said, join back. I love that. I love not even my internet going down. That was just my computer not behaving.
That's incredible. Your voice is not lined up with your mouth movements.
It never is.
Also, I cannot wait for you to go watch this episode because I know you kind of do that. Find that part. You froze in the most terrifying way. I genuinely was sitting here like, oh, is it time to make a deal with the devil? He might be there. Grayson's possessed.
I would love to be possessed. It'd be dope as fuck.
It wouldn't. I still gotta get the anti-possession tattoo.
My mom has the same tattoo.
And then I also want to get the Gale's tattoo from Baldur's Gate. It's not a tattoo, but the orb. I want that.
You're an orb.
Nuh-uh.
Okay, I want the umbrella logo tattoos around me, so.
That's crazy. Oh, I was supposed to send you pictures.
Of what? Please don't send me pictures I don't want.
Yeah, you do.
I want pictures of Spider-Man, that's it.
Not Spider-Man. No, I was at Fan Expo.
Oh, yeah, I know.
There's stuff.
Okay.
You're going to like it.
Geek is sending me things I don't know where at. Probably on Discord.
Probably. That's a good guess.
That's if I had to guess. That's right.
One of these pictures, the warning sign. So there was an entire little Resident Evil area set up. It was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. There was a cool Star Wars one too. I definitely think somebody thought I was being creepy at the Resident Evil. Is that
trans R2D2?
I don't know. It's just a pink droid. There's a lot of astromechs. They're not all R2D2.
It was me making a joke, Geek.
Yeah, but you're not funny. Also, there's a B2 and a B1 battle droid boxing, and I think that's really funny. It's pretty incredible.
The delivery is amazing. Yeah, this movie it's something. How much money did it take to make this movie?
I'll look in 2 seconds. The pictures I sent you, though, the warning sign, it's warning unattended children will be captured and used for medical experiments.
Geek, that's what they did.
I know, but it's so funny. To just that sign. It was so funny. This movie's whoa.
We got a whoa from Geek.
This movie's budget was $30 million.
That's nice.
It grossed $33 million.
It did not make its money back. Okay.
Whoa. I mean, that makes sense. Until you said we were watching this movie, I had never heard of it.
I mean, this is when the people talk about Chadwick's career, this is the ones they throw out. Because, I mean, Chadwick does a really, really good job.
Yeah, no, he's incredible.
He disappears to the character for the most part. And even when he's the older scenes, I know he's in makeup, but it doesn't look like Chadwick.
No, not at all. It was kind of freaky.
Yeah, he completely disappears into this character, and it's quite amazing, especially when we're in an era where actors kind of just are there. I'm gonna be real. I watched F1 over the last few weeks, and Brad Pitt's just Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's weird, but also I do think, depending on, this is a critique on media as a whole, but depending on having Chadwick play a real person is different. Because when you're writing the script for your own original IP, a lot of times that character is just whoever the actor's going to be. Like,
Sure, but
a lot of
Brad
times, not
Pitt,
every time.
like Brad Pitt plays Billy Bean in Moneyball. It's Brad Pitt.
Yeah, yeah. But also, Brad Pitt plays Achilles. It's not Brad Pitt.
It's Brad Pitt.
I don't think so.
That's because you love Troy so much.
That's such a good movie.
Dude,
We should review it again.
No. I really tell you that I saw the Odyssey teaser because it was in front of the Jurassic World
Yeah.
movie. I'm so fucking hyped.
Yeah, I want to watch it. We'll review that one when it comes out as a Friday
Next
episode.
year, 2026.
Yep.
Actually, I can put that in our schedule.
Yeah, that's not that far away, actually, Grayson. Yeah, bro. I'm about to not have insurance. I'm old.
Oh, you're talking about I thought you were talking about.
Well, yeah, because I'm still on my family's.
I thought you were talking about the thing that happened recently.
No, but I mean that doesn't help. I'm sure. No, that's just a being old thing and not being able to exist on my parents.
See, I don't pay for my own health insurance.
Yeah, I don't until January, and then I just won't.
You won't pay for insurance?
Nope. What happens if
Okay.
you get sick? I guess I'll die then.
I say you do you, buddy. I'm not.
Well, I can't afford. But it's the thing with insurance, right? They're just gonna deny me everything, anyways. So.
Why are we talking about insurance?
Because, dude, how much more is there to say about this movie?
Not much.
Chadwick was great. Most of the actors were really good. Bad movie.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a.
If your story's incomprehensible and set weird, it's a bad movie.
I think Chadwick's performance saves this movie from being a bad movie. If this was anyone else, I'd be like, yes, it's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie with great acting.
I think this movie is very mid. Like, I literally give it 2.5 stars. It's a very, like, middle of the road. I won't watch this again.
Rate both of them, I think.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know if I did 42.
But, like, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's, like, something I'd revisit again.
Ooh, does 42 get a full 5 stars from me?
I did not give it 5 stars. I gave it 3.5.
Yeah, but I don't care about you.
That was
I'm gonna go 4.5. I don't think it's perfect, but it's great.
Yeah, first of all, I give it 3.5 stars. He's like, okay, that's fine. 5. I'm gonna give it 5 stars.
I gave it a 4.5. Shut up.
It's not fully accurate to Jackie. This movie, I don't know how accurate it is, but also
no clue.
It's not very comprehensible.
I'm going like 1.5 stars here.
Ooh, that's a rough rating.
It's great acting, but for me, it's like, I don't know. I think that being incomprehensible as a story matters. It doesn't matter how good the acting is if you can't understand what's going on.
I'm trying to think what movies I gave 1.5 stars, like kind of compared to in my brain.
Well,
no, it's too
you also have to remember your rating system's fucking stupid and annoying, and I hate it. Other movies I gave 1.5 stars. I feel, you know what? I'm gonna bump it up to a 2. I don't like the group it's with. You know, 2 feels more correct.
I'm trying to think of a movie you've seen that I could be like, this is a 1.5. So all these movies are just random bad movies. You haven't seen the Jurassic World movies. Fuck, I can't even.
The fuck is that noise? Sorry. There's a noise. I don't know.
It's me at your door, actually.
I don't think so.
Message.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's very complicated. It took a lot of tries and a lot of hard work to get this pre-recorded.
Nah, my building's too nice for you to be there.
What is that supposed to mean?
You literally could not be out my door. Not possible.
That's rough because I am.
No.
What it's called, sneaking right behind someone, bringing in the groceries so they can't really stop you from coming in.
you would have to get really lucky
Yeah.
because it's not. There's like
I
4
make my own
different
luck.
locked doors, and then the elevator itself is locked.
I don't even think an elevator. It's called stairs. I can walk.
The stair doors are to like go into a new floor are locked and do not
I'm
unlock.
gonna be like, I'm gonna go to the security guard there and be like, hey, yo, my name is blank, and I live on blank, and I need help out because I lost.
I
my
don't
key."
think that would work.
I don't know. People said we look similar, so
What?
yeah. You haven't read those comments? Or
I don't. I tend to try to avoid Dueling Fates comments because
Oh, they don't like you because you hate navy blue.
yeah, it's
Holy
crazy.
nitpicking, Batman.
I'm sorry. I also don't understand how just
An episode tangent, by the way.
okay, yeah, but I also just don't understand how disliking a movie or not a movie, but a suit like like a comic book superhero suit in a movie. I don't get how disliking the colors because that's not the colors that character wears is weird. I don't get it. Spider-Man wears blue. He doesn't wear navy blue.
Well, technically, Miguel O'Hara wears black, and he's classified with blue. So
No. Also,
yeah, it's canon to be wearing black.
nope. Also, I still don't get why the world's obsessed with navy blue. Either pick a nice shade of blue or wear black. Navy blue is stupid and ugly, and if you like navy blue, I personally hate you.
He dies. Go back and watch a Spider-Man review. He literally throws like a bit over it.
Mm-hmm.
Watch him talk about the Bears uniforms that are nearly perfect uniforms.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, you're just a fan and you're obsessed, but they're not nearly perfect.
They are.
Be unbiased for one time in your life.
I am.
No, you're not.
I am.
No.
The Raiders would be perfect if they had black pants every so often.
I don't think they need black pants.
I think they need black pants.
No. The Raiders are close to perfect just in general.
Yeah, it's good if they have black pants. I'd be
I
like
don't think they
yeah,
need black pants. You know what I want? Because I'm a psycho and I'm really into this?
Black
Sleeve
helmet?
logo. No.
Oh yeah, every team should have a sleeve logo.
Yeah.
Or stripes. Either
Yeah.
or.
Or for some teams, both.
What can the James Brown get on
The
this?
Vikings need to bring back
Just do the 90s thing.
yeah,
Just
bring
the
back
whole 90s.
those jerseys, but with the current colors. I know everybody wants the darker helmet. If our helmet is not the same shade of purple as our jerseys, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to kill
I
myself.
just need your jerseys, their helmets no longer to be matte. I hate matte.
No,
helmets.
I like the matte purple. I really do.
But you could do you could do like how the Panthers did it, where they have like the metallic coloring and put little gold like flecks into it.
That
It
would
would
be
look cool.
really cool, actually. You're not wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know why you only said the Cardinals also did that. They have red fleck in theirs.
yeah, but the Cardinals jerseys also look like OSU's, and they're very uncreative, and I'm not gonna give them credit.
But we were talking about helmets, not jerseys.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
You're
I'm
dumb.
not giving them credit.
You know what the Vikings need, though? And I stand by this. White face masks.
I think the Colts need to go back to the blue face masks.
Yes.
That's the one that pisses
if
me
your
off the
team
most.
wears a gray face mask, I genuinely only want bad things for your team. Unless it's specifically a throwback. Because that's the point.
Guys.
Like the Vikings do the gray when they do their 60s throwbacks. That makes sense. That's what was worn then.
Mm-hmm.
But for your like modern day every game, the 49ers using gray will never stop pissing me
That's
off.
so gross. Wear red.
Make it gold. Just make it match. It would be fine. Red is better. You did that once. It looked better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. All right. This is an episode. Grayson,
yeah.
just wrap it. It's over.
Fuck. What are we doing next week? I didn't have the sheet out.
Not draft day. Are we doing Black Panther?
We're doing Black Panther next week. We have to talk about Killmonger and T'Challa.
Go.
It's very weird that we're doing this ahead of time, but you know, We're doing it.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
We're watching the rest of the Marvel universe in order afterwards.
in 3 months' time.
Yeah, well, we'll be recording those next week. It's fine.
I don't think so. No.
No.
No. We'll be good.
Yeah, but we're starting those in what, November is when the MCU starts? I bet we'll start recording the MCU in August.
I don't know. Just
At this pace, I'm going to demand we keep doing 2 a week and 2 a week and demand we stay at this pace.
Well, we're at a point in time where we can do basically 2 a week just because of like the movies we're covering and stuff like that. I don't know. But yeah, next week we're covering Black Panther. Very excited to talk about that. I have not watched that in a few years. And I think it's our first Michael B. Jordan movie, and I can talk about him. No, he's a Chronicle.
Oh, that one's recent.
Yeah.
I was going back
why?
way further than
It's not
that.
a good movie.
Better
anyways,
than you.
Fuck you. Next week we'll be talking about Black Panther. Until then, remember to like, subscribe, do whatever on whatever podcasting format you prefer. Until then, fuck off. Bye.